If one thing's going to take your game board to the next level, it's trees. They're an easy way to bring realism and really strengthen immersion. With that in mind, we're going to show you how to make the perfect battlefield trees for pretty much any biome or setting that you can think up. Although yes, today we're going to go for a natural looking forest of dark browns and fecund greens, there's near limitless opportunities with the knowledge in this video. You could make the leafless dead trees of a nuclear wasteland or the lush purple and orange trees of a strange world. Today's video is going to be a little different than our previous tutorials. So far, we've tried to keep things as basic as possible. That way, you'd be able to build dynamic and amazing looking battle scenery out of things you can find around the house. In a slight departure, you'll need to get yourself some decorator's caulk. But it's back to basics from there. First up, you'll need your trusty glue gun, some straws, wooden skewers, a knife, preferably a palette knife, but a butter knife will do. And last but not least, you'll need a raking tool. For your raking tool, you can use a piece of bent wire, a clay sculpting tool, dental hook, or pretty much anything that'll give you a defined line. First, we're going to run a wooden skewer through the length of a straw. Glue one end of the skewer firmly in place. When dry, begin twisting the straw along the length of the skewer, giving a rolling and uneven surface. This will be the underlying structure of your tree trunk. Snap off any excess skewer poking out of the end of the straw. Next, we're going to construct the branches. Take several skewers and gently bend the wood into irregular shapes, aiming for a broad curve along their length. Making these irregular curves will give that ordered chaos effect that nature has. Begin gluing your branches into place. There's a couple of things to keep in mind here. First, there should be some natural nooks in the rolling structure of the straw to glue your branch to. This will give it an indent to cling to, and make it easier to glue everything into place. Next, glue the branches in alternating patterns around the tree, so one side isn't loaded with branches and the other bare. The power of your glue gun is indispensable in creating natural contours, as you can use the glue itself to create seamless connections between every element of your tree. When you're happy with where the branches are placed, go back in with your glue gun and reinforce the connection between the trunk and the branches, making sure to gather a bit of extra glue at the bottom of the joint. Try and think how real branches connect. The bottom of where the branch comes away from the tree tends to run more smoothly upwards, whereas the top of the connection tend to have a more pronounced arc. Next, begin gluing smaller pieces of wood along the length of the main branches. This creates a canopy system. This obviously is how trees look, but particularly for this build, it will be essential for holding up the foliage that we're going to add later, so make sure to have a solid spread of smaller branches. This is when we're going to take it to the next level, and when you see the effect of decorator's caulk, you'll be itching to get some for yourself. Time to get a really gnarled bark texture on your tree. Apply the decorator's caulk along the length of the trunk, limbs and branches. You'll want to target these one at a time, but the substance does have a 2-hour curing time, so you've got plenty of time to work through each section. Apply a thin layer of caulk to the tree's frame. Then begin raking long furrowed lines along the frame's length. Honestly, don't worry about being too neat. Nature is wild and unruly, so get stuck in with your rake. Just make sure that the bark texture runs vertically. Once you've created the bark texture, set your trees to the side and wait for them to dry. Once fully cured, base your trees on cardboard or wood. Because trees are top heavy, we'd really recommend giving them a solid base so they don't fall over. Use a piece of vanity board or some scrap wood if you have it lying around to really reinforce the base if you've got a particularly big oak on your hands. Painting the tree is an iteration of the painting style that we've showcased in previous videos. You want to paint the frame brown, then wash it with a watered down black. Make sure the wash runs along the texture of your bark. and then hit the whole thing with a dry brush highlight of either white or a light brown. It's time to fill out your canopy. We're using Geek Gaming's foliage here, and it really is the perfect fit for this job. At the workshop, we really appreciate the quality of Geek Gaming's products. Beyond their online store, they've got a great channel here on YouTube, and we highly recommend you check them out if you haven't already. Creating natural looking foliage is more of an art than a science. You're going to want to grab a big clump of this mossy flock, and using your glue gun, point stick it to the deeper recesses of your branch system. Just get it stuck on there, don't really worry about the overall shape. Once you've got this bilious halo of green stuck on top of your tree, go in with a pair of scissors and begin preening the whole thing down into your perfect tree shape. Get stuck in with the scissors, keeping in mind the whole time your general shape that you want your tree to have. When you're happy with the shape of your canopy, you can go ahead and flock the base using the same technique as we've covered in our previous videos. To add a final touch of finesse, we're going to use a spray adhesive on the tree canopy and then apply a liberal sprinkling of leaf flock to aid the contrast, texture and colours of our leaves. You'll need to be fast though, as the spray adhesive will dry extremely quickly. Q recommends a mix of lighter and darker shades. This particular flock was sourced from modelscenerysupplies.co.uk. And with that, you're done. Next week, you're going to have to strap in tight because we're taking all the knowledge from today's video, all of our past content, and knowledge from the gods themselves to bring you the most epic great oak centerpiece build that you've ever seen. So until next time, try hard. Hey guys, welcome to Try Hard Games. I'm Andrew, these are the Try Hard Boys. We're here to help you build better worlds, from fantasy to sci-fi, D&D to Warhammer. We'll be sculpting miniatures, crafting game boards, and a load of memes in between. We'll be putting videos out every week, and we've got big plans, so be sure to hit like and subscribe. And until next time, try hard.
That's all good.